We're now joined by CBS News political analyst and Republican strategist Frank Luntz. He had been with us throughout the campaign. Frank, good morning. I want to pick up on what the governor said. Republicans did well in House races and in gubernatorial races, but not at the presidential level. What does that say?
Well, if you take a close look, there are specific segments of the population that the GOP cannot do this badly and expect to win in the future. Let's start with Hispanics. Traditionally, Republicans get about 35% of the vote. When you're getting in the mid-20s among Hispanics and Latinos, that means you're not going to win Colorado, Nevada, or even Florida, as we see this morning. Second are middle-aged women, 30 to 49, particularly young moms. That was the group that Republicans used to bring over once they got married and had their first child. Not last night.
But Frank, let me interrupt you because you're saying what we've been talking about. The question is, Republicans this morning are saying, look, we won at the gubernatorial level and we won at the level of the House of Representatives. Why there and not at the presidential level? Is it a bad candidate? Is it what?
It was a bad campaign on, let's give credit where credit is due. It was a good campaign for Barack Obama. To come after Mitt Romney in the most important state in America, Ohio, with advertising that was the most effective of the entire campaign. I've shown those ads on your show. Second is Mitt Romney's inability or unwillingness, the campaign, to respond to those attacks. Charlie, there's a certain rule of politics. When you are attacked, you must respond. And if you do not, voters will think that you are guilty. And that's exactly what happened in Ohio, Wisconsin, Virginia, Colorado. Obama was masterful at spending the right amount of money in the right states, and it worked for him last night. Remember, Barack Obama only beat Mitt Romney by 2% of the vote, and yet he won a much bigger electoral college. That says it was a good campaign.
So do you think, Frank, the Republican Party needs to change?
I think the party needs to re-examine not just where it stands, but how it communicates those positions. And I think it really does need to be honest with itself that with a high unemployment rate, with high poverty, with an economy that is not strong, if you lose this election, what elections are you going to win?
Frank, as a reporter, we talked to both sides, and we asked them for their best information on what was going on. This was a weird election because both sides were so insistent that they were absolutely right about the polling. And, you know, elections then settle some of the things. How can there be two different realities?
Well, the reality that we were getting, the published polls, Real Clear Politics, CBS polling, it turned out to be correct.
The polling was correct.
The polling was correct. The internal polling within the Romney campaign and the things that I was seeing did not jive with what the Romney campaign and the Republicans were saying. They need to look at their turnout model. They need to look at how you define a likely voter. And they need to understand that all Americans need to be included in this, not just the people that it deems to be important. The American people want an election with 100% of the people counted, not just these most likely voters. The polling community looks good today. The Republican community doesn't.
A lot of lessons to be learned. Thank you, Frank Luntz. We'll see you later.
Thank you.
The world is